Today we'll be painting the bling boys of Middle-earth, and they are Haldir's elves. We're going to cover how to paint blonde hair, add some interest by creating some wood grain on the weapon, a method of painting blue cloaks, and of course the bling armor that only the elves wear best. I'm gonna start this one by spraying it with Ossified Earth by Colourforge. And then you can pick out the armor by brush using Greedy Gold, or with Glittering Loot speed paint through an airbrush, just like I did here. Using an airbrush allows me to get a nice smooth coverage and saves me a fair bit of time. For the cloaks, my go-to was Dark Sky by Army Painter, as this was the darkest blue that they did. However, with the new Fanatic range, Imperial Navy is just the biscuit, and it covers so much better than our Dark Sky counterpart. And if you're going to be painting 20, 30 elves at the same time, then this is going to save you a lot of time. If you get any of this blue onto anything else, such as this elven quiver, then don't worry about it. We're just doing some base coats here, so you can always tidy up as you go. For the red, we're going to go a little bit more muted here than something that's bright and punchy, because we're going to create a reddishy brown leather look here once it's finished. Just trying not to get any onto the gold here, but if you do, then just tidy up a little bit with that Greedy Gold paint, because you're going to cover this as you lay down the base colours. So if you're not too tidy from the get-go, then it doesn't really matter. For the third cloth on this gentle elf, we're going to go for a dark grey, in the form of Necromancer Cloak. You might want to switch over to a slightly smaller brush because the parts are getting a little bit more teeny tiny on the miniature to pick out. Due to these miniatures being in metal and that little bit older, they're not too difficult to paint, compared to a lot of the wacky detailed plastic sculpts that we get today. And you'll find once you've taken the time to lay all the base coats down, it won't take too much longer for it to be completely finished, which is quite refreshing painting a miniature. On to basing the skin now, and we're going to do this a little bit different from what we've done in the past with other Middle-earth miniatures. This time we're going to start with a barbarian flesh as the lighter skin colour. This is due to all the golden armour that we have got going on, and I'll go more into this as we start adding the washes onto the miniature. We've just got a couple more base coats to apply onto the miniature, and first off it is the luscious locks of the elven blonde hair. You can, if you wish, have something a little bit different so it's not blonde next to the golden armour, but it's just such an iconic look that we will keep it blonde. The last little segment for applying the base coats is just to add the gold onto the filigree of the quiver and just a smidge of detail on the bow itself. With the base coats down, and now we're ready for the next stage, and that is to add some shading in the form of washes. We start off on the hair with some Army Painter Light Tone. This paint was just prodded into place and it allowed the liquid to flow into the recesses of the sculpt, instantly creating a shaded area for us. And that's what I love about washes. It's just a very simple technique, but it can turn a flat paint job, such as just our base coats here, into something a little bit more dramatic with some added shade. And it's definitely one of my favourite processes of painting. You don't really need to think about it too much, you just slap on the shade. Here we're just using some strong tone for the boots and the wood. What I tend to do with washes is to try and not paint two objects next to each other, one after the other. Just to make sure that I've got enough time for them to dry and then the paints won't merge together. Though granted, if you are batch painting say 10 models, by the time you finish the 10th, the first one should be pretty much dry anyway. So the moral of this short story is, try not to mix the washes as you paint. For the golden armour, we're going to go with Flesh Wash to go over the whole thing. This is just going to break it up a little bit and add some shaded areas into the recesses, especially the chainmail area at the bottom. However, we're going to make the curved ornate armour a little bit more defined in just a moment. But for now, just use Flesh Wash and let that thoroughly dry. And now, because we used all of that Flesh Wash on the armour, We're going to use some crusted saw paint and then water that down to give him some reddish looking skin tones instead for his shading. And this will break it up a little bit from the golden armour that we've just done previously. When you are thinning down this paint with either water or medium, the latter is better, you want it around about the same consistency as the washes that you have in your range. I tend to start with around about a 50-50 mix to see how it goes, and if I need to go any more, then I'll just add a little bit more medium or water. And finally, onto the cloak. We're using a blue tone here, but we're mainly just focusing on the creases of the cloth rather than slapping it on the whole thing. As we're going to be layering this cloak later on and then increasing the brightness with the highlights, we're just focusing mainly here on the shaded areas. Now you may want to do one pass with the shade paint and then let it dry, and then go back and then do a second layer just into the recesses to make them darker. Alright, so now after all the washes are dry, we're ready to start creating that blingy armour. We're going to darken down some of the areas of the armour and give it a bit of a tint with this Sand Golem speed paint. However, if you don't have the Sand Golem speed paint, then the closest equivalent is a mid-brown wash. What we're doing here is applying the paint onto the armour to force some more shaded areas, and make them darker. Such as the curved armour which is closer to the cape on the upper parts of the leg, as well as the lower parts of the wrist guards. The other areas that I concentrated on were between the actual armour panels themselves, to break them up a bit and make them more defined, especially as we're going to be highlighting these later on. Just take your time on this and let the liquid of the paint flow into the recesses for you. For a slightly alternative method of how to paint the elves, I do have a downloadable PDF stage by stage guide on the website. Also on there is a whole bunch of other Middle-earth paint guides which you can download and use anytime whilst you're painting your miniatures. I'll leave a link in the description of the video. Now I'm just going to do one more thing before we start adding the details onto the miniature, and that is just to do some brown shadow lines between some of the armor plates and the skin. This is just to make these areas more defined on the miniature. And whilst the paint was still out, I also darkened down the eye sockets ready for later. Okie dokie, so our elf is looking pretty good now. And we're now going to bring the details out on the sculpt with some highlights. We'll continue now and do each section individually, starting with the grey cloth. A couple highlights of Dungeon Grey followed by Filthy Cape were used to pick out the folds in the material. For shoes and boots, I tend to highlight the outside edge of the leather and then do a line across around about halfway down to represent where the leather has been worn down a little. The same two colours that we used on the boots were also used for the straps. For the red cloth, we turned this a little bit darker earlier on with a mid-brown wash, and we're going to continue highlighting in that manner with a fur brown highlight. And this is just to showcase a different way of painting a brownish looking leather. We don't always have to start off with an oak brown or a leather brown. However, by starting your base colour with a red, this will just give you a different option for the future. And for the final highlight, some centaur skin was used. Now, this is a bright punchy colour, so you don't need too much of this. I suggest going to a fine detail brush for this one, just for those last few highlights. The main thing here is to not make those highlights too thick, covering our fur brown that we have just painted on. For the face and skin, we started with the eyes, and we went with the 2-dot method for this one to create the whites of the eyes. There is also a video on this channel that goes through a few different methods of painting eyes if you do find this a little bit tricky. As there isn't too much skin on this elf, it didn't take that long to finish off. First off, some barbarian flesh was used again just to tidy up the areas of red that we did earlier, and this was just followed along with a highlight of kobold skin. This was mainly used to pick out the knuckles and the end of the fingers on his hands, as well as the more protruding facial features like his cheeks, nose, lips and chin. Now for one of my favourite parts of the model, and pretty much easiest if I'm honest, is painting a simple wood grain effect on the bow. This was done by taking some monster brown and applying a few faint short lines going down the bow. Just add them on randomly, but make sure that you can still see the colour underneath. This will give the bow a little bit more visual interest. The details for the bow grip and the fletching on the arrows were just brightened up slightly with a couple of highlights. On the left first was the initial highlight of Banshee Brown, and then on the right, Drake Tooth was applied with a slightly thinner detail brush. And sticking with the detail brush, we move on to the hair next. As I want to keep the blonde look for our elf Henry, I need this colour to come through a bit more as it's surrounded by gold. So the first step was to tidy up the desert yellow after we used our wash earlier, and give it a first highlight. The second was to make it brighter and move it away from the gold colour, and for this we used troll claws. Not every single strand of hair was painted here, just the main curls that you desire, leaving some of that initial colour underneath. Now for one of the main parts of the model, his cloak. Cloaks are everywhere in the Middle-earth range, so you'll want to get used to painting them. Here's one way of doing them, but you can take this method and then use your own colours for your different armies. For the elf, we started with crystal blue, and this was thinned down with some medium, or in this case some airbrush flow improver, as I ran out of army paint to medium. It pretty much does the same task here. It was about a 50-50 mix, and I started to apply the paint on the upper areas of the cloth, leaving the folds as is to remain darker. Afterwards, some Void Shield blue was added to the mix to create a lighter blue, and this was applied more to the bottom parts of the cloak at the back to start creating a gradient in colour. As you lay the paint down on the miniature, each layer will get progressively lighter, so you can build up the colour to your desire. Just make sure that your paint is nicely thinned down on your palette as you work on the layers. The same mix was used to pick out the highlights of the folds on the hood and at the front of the miniature. And speaking of highlights, Void Shield blue by itself was the last colour used for the cloak. And this brighter blue was applied onto the edges of the material, as well as some of the more prominent fold lines towards the bottom end of the cloak. This just further enhances the gradient that we have got going on. So you can definitely use this method for other miniatures in your range. Just pick up an appropriate base colour, a mid-tone, and a highlighting colour. Add a bit of medium into the mix where appropriate, and you can come up with some nice looking cloaks yourself. "I love gold," is what the elf said, and so I obliged to give him a brighter looking shine on some areas of the armour. Bright gold paint was applied to the upper parts of the armour, and this will contrast against the darker areas when we used the Sand Golem speed paint earlier. Again, we don't have to cover all of the golden colour that we have already got going on at this point, but rather layering on a brighter gradient in places, just for that extra bit of shine. And finally, shining silver was used to pick out the highlights of our armour and chainmail. For the latter, the brush was an old one, and I use it mainly for the odd dry brush here and there these days. However, for the highlights on the armour itself, I jump back onto using a good old detail brush to pick out the edges of the armour. This is probably the longest stage for a paint on the miniature, so take your time with it. You may even want your elves to have a slight green tinted armour like Glorfindel here. So grab your lembas bread and then check out that video after this one. Either way, we have completed our elf and he's off to Helm's Deep as they've got a bit of an Uruk-hai problem over there. Keep on hobbying, everyone!